and welcome to Round Robin. I'm your host, Robin McCormick with the City of Hampton. And today we are going to update you on Hampton's Community Gardens program. It has grown so much since the last time we spoke. Here today is Wendy Iles, who heads up that program. Welcome back, Wendy.
Thank you so much. Good morning to you.
Good morning. And you guys now have how many gardens?
Three gardens so far, and it encompasses 72 plots, 6 handicapped-accessible plots, and 4 communal plots, which are huge.
Now, I don't understand all those distinctions. You're going to have to go through and tell me about it. But let's start with where they're located. What are the sites?
Okay, we still have, our first one was Buckrow, which is next to St. Joseph's Church on Buckrow Avenue. And then Phoebus, which is downtown Phoebus beside the fire station. And the latest one is behind North Phoebus Community Center on West Chamberlain.
So 2 in Phoebus, that's nice, basically. Okay. And then what's a communal site?
A communal site is basically, it's a 10-foot by 20-foot bed. And one of them, I'm excited to say, is going to be gardened by the school-age program, school-age programs. And they're having the Moton pre-K kids in there to garden that one. So it's a big bed, but there's a lot of little kids, and so it's plenty of room for them. It's very, very well done.
That is, so it's going to be at Moton, or they'll bring them?
They're bringing the kids. It's right next to Moton, so that they're going to be able to bring the kids right over. And then the 72 plots are individual plots, and they're 5 foot by 10 foot. And then our handicapped accessible plots are obviously really raised beds, and the size of them depends on who built the bed. so several of them were, actually all 3 originally were Eagle Scout projects, and so I gave the Eagle Scout the opportunity to help design the beds.
That's neat. And those are, I mean, when you say handicapped accessible, it could also be just people who can't bend over. It doesn't necessarily have to be people in a wheelchair, but just people who can't necessarily get down on the ground and get back up.
That is absolutely correct. Yes. And so we wanted to make sure that some are, high enough so that if you couldn't bend over, 2 of them are specifically wheelchair accessible.
So they're a little lower,
Yeah, but they're also, the configuration of the bed is such that someone in a wheelchair could get all the way around it.
That's so neat.
Yeah.
So how many people participate in this program? Do you have, you're out here, and we're kind of plugging the program. Do you have openings? Can people still register?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Of 72 plots, I only have 12 openings.
Wow.
Yes, that's so exciting.
So a lot of folks are coming back each year, I'm thinking.
And also, being able to do a lot of outreach, such as this program, has opened the idea to more people in the community. I received a call from someone yesterday that said, I'd like to apply for a plot. Unfortunately, her address is Newport News, so it is available only to the residents of Hampton.
And so are these people who have been gardeners all their lives and know what they're doing, or people who maybe have not had that opportunity and you're doing a lot of education?
We do a lot of education. We have classes, and we also partner with the Master Gardeners for classes as well. So we have everyone from a young lady that just signed up with her 2 children, never gardened in her life. Immediately she was taken under someone else's wing. They helped her select the seeds for what her family will eat, and they even shared some seeds with her. And so she's ready to get in there, and her kids are excited, and that just thrills me, and I want to see more people of all ages in the garden. We have some seasoned gardeners. We actually have, I want to say 5 of our original gardeners still with us.
From what year? How long? What year is
2015.
this for you? Wow.
So this is going into our 4th year. But those 5 are very good about mentoring young gardeners coming up, and of course it helps the partnership with the Master Gardeners. They're teaching a Vegetable 101 series right now, and so I'm able to encourage folks to go to that as well. Our classes have become a lot more varied. So we have a compost class coming up. We have photography in the garden in June, hypertufa, which if you're not familiar with,
you lost me.
It's a lightweight concrete planters. So we show people how to make things that they can do at home so that they're not just gardening with us, they're also able to garden at home as well.
And that's neat because a lot of people, even if you live in an apartment, you might have a deck or a patio or someplace you could do, you know, herbs or,
Exactly
you know,
what I was thinking.
cherry tomatoes or just a few things that you can go out and grab, maybe a little bit of lettuce.
That's exactly what I was thinking is that people can make a planter, even a small planter, and have some fresh herbs right there so that it really does. It encourages somebody whenever you go on your patio and you're able to pick fresh thyme to go in your dish or fresh basil, then it makes you really want to garden more.
That is so neat. So, and you're really like vegetables from seed, like that's
Yes.
that's serious. I tend to buy, you know, like tomato plants and not necessarily. I mean, I can do lettuce from seed, but you got to plan ahead, and it's investment of time and do things right.
Well, it's
Good.
a learning experience every year. We had a seed swap last month, and in that we also partnered with one of the master gardeners to teach soil blocking, which is a new method, and it's basically when you make instead of doing the pots, the
little peat pots, right?
Yeah, then you're making little tiny cubes, and if you're in an apartment, then you've got space for a little tray, and you could put 40 of these little cubes on there. So it's encouraging people who don't have a lot of space to be able to start their seeds, and it's so much cheaper.
It is cheaper. I know it's cheaper, but you also, you know, you're buying a packet of seeds, which is cheaper than one plant. But you know, no one needs mostly a whole packet of seeds. You know, you need.
You mean those 200 seeds in that lettuce pack?
Right.
Yeah. But that's the great thing about a seed swap is that we, you know.
Or a plant swap, seedling swap
Yes,
even.
yes,
Yeah.
and we should be having one of those as well. In the past years, we've had people that are like me and they start way too many seeds, and then they'll go over and leave some at the garden with a little sign that says free. And again, that's building community because, you know, you may not know who left it, but you know one of those people that you're gardening with was this kind.
Right. That is neat. And yeah, there's a limit to how many zucchinis any one family needs.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So what kinds of things do people grow?
Of course, the number one vegetable is tomatoes.
That's the one where it just makes the most difference to me.
Yes.
Whether or not it's homegrown and fresh.
Yeah, it's such a difference in taste as well as the texture, and just being able to go out and pick a couple fresh tomatoes for your dinner. Squash, cucumbers are number 2. Squash is probably number 3. Again, you know, now I have gardeners who are saying, I'm going to plant zucchini and yellow squash this year. If you want to plant cucumbers, then I'll trade with you. And even better. Because as you said, a zucchini plant gives so much. Yes. And some cucumbers do as well. The other thing, the fun thing there is that some people are planting one variety of cucumbers and another one a different variety so they can trade as well, which is nice. I don't grow pickling cucumbers. So, you know, I'm happy to trade some English cucumbers with someone else. Lots and lots of peppers. Oh my gosh, peppers were so abundant last year in the gardens. And the only thing I ask people there is if they're growing just hot peppers, put a sign up. You know, so if you've got children, because even though children know the rules, you might go and say, oh, that's pretty and it's red and it's bright and let me pick it. And yeah, that could be interesting. But, you know, they're so good about it. Our gardeners really are so good about, you know, labeling things, and I think that's pretty neat.
Because, I mean, there's 2 words here, community and garden. So it isn't just about fresh food, it is also about the community and being with people and sharing and all of that experience.
Absolutely. And, you know, I told you I went back and I reviewed our very first interview, and it's proven me out time and again. People who have become friends, they start in the garden, they become friends on social media. Someone moved recently, and because of getting to know a gardener for the past year, they ended up being able to move into their neighborhood because that was not a neighborhood they would have typically looked at. They were looking at a different part of Hampton. And so it's kind of neat that you continue to build these relationships. And I'm all about community. I just want to be able to go out, walk down the street, talk to the neighbors, enjoy being here because it's such a beautiful city.
So Wendy, what department do you work in? How did this come about? Why did Hampton? It isn't a huge investment because I assume this is land the city already owned, but your time in organizing this and putting it all together is an investment that the city does make.
Yes.
Why do we do that?
It really is for our residents. It's to improve quality of life, and generally in other cities we've seen that they're happier residents when you have access to things like this, things like the bike trails, and you've got people who are getting out in the community. We've put picnic tables and benches at all the gardens. We have a Venture Scout that recently built 2 benches for us. They're just beautiful, sturdy, and that's part of it. Is people go and they hang out, and not necessarily gardening 100%. It's just going and visiting with other gardeners. Placemaking,
all that, and green and nature and fresh air and
Yes.
all that stuff. But health benefits are important, and it was
they are.
one of the the planks in the last community plan was to reduce obesity and be healthier, and especially focusing on children. And now that you're connected with the pre-K, having kids know where their food comes from and learning to appreciate fresh food and eat healthier at that very young age and develop those habits as they get older.
Well, to go back, I work for the Parks Department, Parks, Recreation, and Leisure Services, and this was an initiative from the former Parks Director, and so he was very supportive, and the current Parks Director is also very supportive of the program. But you're right, getting our kids to not just know where their food is, but to get out, get away from the TV, get away from social media, and to physically get out there and play in the soil. It used to be digging the dirt, now we're just playing in the soil.
Yeah.
But it could decrease obesity. It also decreases crime. And that's been proven in Chicago and Philadelphia and bigger cities. So it's a win-win all over.
It's connection to the environment. It's going to decrease litter. People are going to take care of the earth if they have a connection to it and appreciate it. And it's just helpful all around. And it builds community.
I love that. I absolutely love it.
Great. So how do people learn more or keep up with, you have a Facebook page? I mean,
We do.
How do we learn all that?
We do. If they want to sign up for a plot, it's hampton.gov/community gardens. If they're interested in our social media, and we try to put a lot of relevant content there, that's Hampton VA Community Gardens on Facebook. I don't tweet except for just hanging out with the birds. And of course I post on events on the city's calendar as well.
Good.
And they're cross-posted with some other departments in the city as well. So if you're a fan of Clean City or parks, then there's a good chance you'll see the events as well.
Okay, thanks. Well, I want to stay up with what you're doing. This is great.
Please do. Please come visit.
I will. I will. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching. I hope if you are a gardener, you will go by and connect with some of these folks. Maybe they'll share some things with you and you can share with them. And if you're not a gardener, maybe you could be. Maybe you're not a gardener because you don't have a place or you're not sure what you're doing. And this is a great way to dip your toes in, to get some fresh food, to learn what it's like, and to have some fun and meet some people. Thanks for watching.